Wow, wow, wow. I like that soundtrack though. It gives you some sort of vibe. It's a Friday and I don't know how you're feeling, but I think I'm in my elements for today's installment of the African Entrepreneurship Forum. My name is Andrew Sakoto Ado. You can call me Andy for short. I am connecting from Ghana, Accra, Ghana. I see people greeting, exchanging some pleasantries in the chat box or in the comment section. Please let us know where you're connecting from. Hi from Namibia. It would be nice to know what you do, and just add some feel to it, connecting from Ghana or from Johannesburg. So we have Retail from Johannesburg, South Africa. Let us know where you're connecting from. And we can spend perhaps the next 2 minutes to tell a friend to tell another friend that we are live, on the African Entrepreneurship Forum. We are talking about secularity today. It's an exciting topic. It's something that has generated a lot of attention, a lot of leads from so many development agencies and corporations all around the world, and more importantly in an era of sustainability. So this whole circular economy is catching attention a lot, and I bet that you understand it as much as I do, or perhaps you even are like an expert, or you are like a consultant on it. And for that matter, we are going to be talking to an exciting group of entrepreneurs who are in the space, who are doing a number of things. I mean, exciting projects from people using charcoal briquettes, people actually developing that business model of sustainability, others who are basically trying to bring about this green produce, or if you like, organic foods, So it's an exciting time in Africa, and it's an exciting time within the Shared Value Africa fraternity. And you are one of our own people. So please, if you are here, feel at home, feel comfortable. But then there's a quick housekeeping rules. If you're not talking, kindly keep your microphones muted. And for us not to get distracted by backgrounds, you see my background is very plain. And so I would advise that we keep it plain. All right, we keep it plain, and then don't have movements, in your background and all that. So keep your computer or your phone at a very stable place so that it doesn't shake. Okay, we want to see you, but most advisedly, if you are not really talking, it's better if you probably just turn off your video, just to manage the bandwidth. I know that internet connectivity in Africa can be funny sometimes, so we would advise that you maintain your data packages well. So thank you all for connecting once again. As I said, my name is Andrew Sakoto Ado. You can call me Andy for short, and I'm excited to be here with you yet again, your host for today's installment. We've been doing it for the past 4 years. There's a platform for entrepreneurs where we get to learn from each other. And today, in my preamble, I had mentioned that we are talking about secularities, the secular economy. What is it about? How can you and I actually, position ourselves to leverage its opportunity, and also basically, if possible, develop, new and thriving businesses within that space. Okay. So at this moment, I'm going to take a quick poll just to gauge your mood, and then to also have an understanding of what you know about secularity. A little bit I know about secularity has to do with, basically using this new model of business, or it's a business management philosophy, basically saying that you are not going to waste anything. There's nothing like waste in the secular economy. Everything is reused, everything is recycled, everything just gets sustained. So the traditional methods of doing business, where you just take, make, and then dispose, in this context, we are saying that you reuse, you recycle, you refurbish, right? So let us know what you think about it. If you're familiar with the circular economy principles, there are so many principles on it. Let me know if you know. I am a little bit familiar, or I have a good idea. Maybe I'm familiar, yeah. Let us know what you think also. And I will pull out the poll. Whoa. Okay. We have a few experts in the house. I have a little knowledge, 38% of us. And we have, how many of us are on the call now? We are like 28 on the call. I bet we'll hit 100 before my time, and before my Ghana time hits, like maybe in 10 minutes. Okay, so please quickly chat someone, talk to someone that you're connected. I want to have a good number of people on the call today. Okay, so we have a few of us have little knowledge, 31% very familiar. I think that's a good place to start. That's a good place to start. So I'm going to be introducing our first speaker. Today, the model is a bit different from what we are used to. If you are new on the session or on the forum today, you will have some sort of a different feel, a different vibe of our conversation. We'll be talking to our speakers one-on-one, more like a fireside chat type of thing. So we'll engage them so that they would have that luxury of time to share with you their expertise and also talk about their experiences within the field of circularity or circular economy. Other people will call it a green economy and all that. They'll break it down and let us know. They'll unpack all the ideas and let us know how we can, think of it and what we can actually do as entrepreneurs. This platform is created for entrepreneurs by entrepreneurs. So as entrepreneurs, how can we leverage the field? Is it a concept or is it a way of doing business? How do we apply this? So our first speaker is Eunice Chloe. I hope I got it right, Marina. She's a co-founder of BD Green, and she has years of experience within the space. BD Green is a company is within the green economy or circular economy sector that is located in Ghana. I think it's based in Ghana, and they've been doing what they call the charcoal briquettes. So dive deep into what that means, and then also share a little bit about her journey as an entrepreneur within the sector of circular economy or the green space and what have you. So if Eunice is here with me, I want to see if, oh, awesome.
Hi.
Okay. So we have a few people sending in, their comments, and at the moment, I think we have a number of people connecting from everywhere in Africa. I see East Africa, Kenya, Ethiopia. When you go to the southern part of Africa, Johannesburg, I'm yet to see. And so we have Zambia. I think I saw Namibia also. One person connecting for Windhoek, or they call it Windeck. Okay. And then also, I think I'm yet to see someone from West Africa, though. But you and I are in West Africa, and you've been, particularly in Ghana, and you've been in this space of green economy, circular economy for quite some time now. Can you walk us through your journey, first and foremost, so that everybody will get to know who Eunice, I think I got the surname right, Chloe.
You tried. Was close.
I tried. All right. So can you walk us through your journey? How you started BD Green Ghana Limited. How has it been for you? Yeah. And how long have you been running this enterprise?
All right. So hello everyone. Andrew tried to mention my name. My name is Eunice Clay, and I'm the co-founder for BD Green Ghana Limited. BD Green is a green energy startup that is focused on solving the problem of deforestation in rural and urban communities. Our premium product is actually smokeless briquettes. So we use crop waste, a variety of crop waste from corn cobs, cocoa pods, to coconut shells, palm kernel shells to produce briquettes. And this is just meant to replace what is on the market, the traditional charcoal, and have a more sustainable way of sourcing for energy for cooking and heating. So yeah, that's a brief background about BD Green. My journey started quite a long time ago. I think my journey started in my first year of my bachelor's degree. I came to the university and I really wanted a group that had a similar goal, was more community-centered, had a way of reaching out to these communities that had challenges and using the limited resources they had available to solve their problems. So I started volunteering with Inactus KNUST. So Inactus is this nonprofit organization made up of students and business leaders, educators. I mean, it's a very diverse community. And what they do is they identify problems in communities and then use the entrepreneurial action to solve them. So they find a problem, look at the resources they have, and then use entrepreneurial action in terms of entrepreneurship to solve their problems. And in that way, the people are empowered to generate their own profit. So they are given the chance to make it for themselves. And so that's what started my journey. And it has been quite inspiring. It's been great, learning a lot. And I think one thing that really, really got to me during the journey is that sometimes what you think you know is right. I mean, you have all the knowledge from the classroom, the textbooks, and everything, but down on the field, it's a completely different story altogether. And that's really opened my eyes to a lot of things. And that's how Be the Green started. So Be the Green started in a small community. So Be the Green started as a community development project in a community called Tetrefu, a few kilometers from Kumasi. And they had a ban on logging for charcoal production. And the same charcoal which was destroying the environment was a source of livelihood for the rural folks. So now the only option was to find them an alternative that was not entirely different from what they were doing. Because, change is slow. It takes time for people to adapt to things. And so if you are introducing something, it should not be entirely different. It shouldn't be complicated. And so that's how we started. And then, we scaled up to go commercial. So we've been in operation as a business for about 3 years. Yeah.
3 years.
So, yes.
Wow, you have a good experience in there. When it gets to 3 years, that's when the startups call it's time to make money face. Like you've hustled through your first, second, and then the third year is when you are expecting to, get some good funding and meet some new partners. Of course, you've expanded the customer base, you've gotten to know more people. As a community-driven initiative of some sort, where you mobilize the community, I bet you have a lot of followers, you have a lot of people who are behind you and all that. I'm just curious to know how the lessons has been. You said you got surprised or probably got shocked with how to, keep up with managing people, and also that's where the difficulty of business is. I called it got shocked because sometimes we as entrepreneurs don't think about these things. We are excited about the solution, the idea. We think that, hey, we're going to make the world a better place. We're going to solve all the problems. In your case, deforestation and all that. And then you realize that I need to work with people. I need to find me. I need to do all sort of things. So can you walk us through the lessons that you've learned, in navigating these challenges, and also just keeping your focus that, hey, this business, this thing that I've started is so important and it can get somewhere?
All right, thanks for the question. So there's been quite a number of lessons, but I think I'll just highlight a few.
Okay.
And the first is about innovation. Sometimes the simplest innovations solve the problem. I mean, for example, people think I'm going to work on this huge farmers project. I'm going to build this big web app. I'm going to create this software that's going to revolutionize the whole industry. Everything is just going to change, disrupts the industry and all. But sometimes that's not exactly what they need. And when it's too complicated, it doesn't solve the problem. So the whole point of it is that the whole basic form of the solution should solve the problem. Shouldn't just be too complicated. So sometimes, yes, the simplest innovations actually just solve the problem. So that's the first. The second is that sustainability and profitability can actually coexist. Wow. I mean, we are shifting to a very green economy. I mean, everyone wants something sustainable, and And gone are the days where everyone is just profit driven. I must generate revenue. But sometimes, if you are conscious about the environment, I mean, this is the same environment you're sourcing your raw materials from. So if you take care of it, it will give back to you. And so we need to realize that yes, sustainability and profitability can actually coexist and work together. And the third one I must say is collaboration is key. Yes, we have competition and oh yes, competition is necessary. I mean, it helps you up your game, makes you more like abreast with things. But if we do want to go far, we need to look at collaboration, like working together. I mean, you realize, oh, you have you're targeted at deforestation, you are into more of charcoal production, but then someone is very good with advocacy, and you might not necessarily have the human resource to tackle that aspect. You could actually work together because you, at the end of the day, you're just trying to solve the problem of deforestation. So why don't you just collaborate? It opens doors for you and it makes you grow. So it's very important. We should not just look at being better than others, but actually working together. That's the only way we can have a sustainable future. So
Wow.
those are the three things I would like to highlight. Yeah.
I mean, these are some very serious lessons, and thank you so much, first and foremost, for sharing this with us. Let us spend a bit of time probably unpacking the sustainability and profitability bits, right? That's so exciting, and that's basically what we, from the Shared Value Africa side, that's what we are tending to promote, that this truly can coexist, right?
Yeah.
At the current phase of things, let's try and connect it to the circular economy bit. That's where we would share some learning in there for other people to get to understand this.
Yeah.
But currently, they say Africa is in the eye of the storm when it comes to climate change.
Yeah.
We don't contribute to, I mean, the gas emissions and all that, just 2% or 3% in recent time. But then the effect of climate change is with us. And you are in the space of deforestation and all that. And then you hear of these things and people talk about it as some sort of a social intervention and all this, go do some advocacy, go and talk to the government to stop this, to stop that and all that. How can we get the business to be interested in this? And how have you perhaps really be able to sell that narrative of creating shared value where sustainability, profitability can coexist in the face of thinking about this, social, they more or less talk about it in a social context, climate change, this and that. How can we bring that knowledge that, hey, business is important for this also? Because this too, sustainability, so from social side of things, has an economic part to it. Are you with me? Can you please tell us some two, maybe in a minute or two, and then maybe we can invite others who may have questions from the chat, just to pick their thoughts also on this.
Okay, so the whole thing is circular economy is circular economy. I even see it as a business concept because it's seeing our processes in a loop. That means nothing gets left out of the whole production chain or our activities. So previously, there's just sourcing, production, get the product to the customer, and then the waste is just left out there. But then, I mean, the whole concept is that the waste of one production process is like a resource to start something else, right? And so that's the whole concept of circular economy. And in terms of Be the Green, I mean, we identify that people need some source of energy, but they are directly sourcing it from an unsustainable place that's cutting down trees. And so the whole question is, how can we use the waste? I use waste in quotes because it's not waste for us, it's a resource. How can we use that form of waste to actually produce a new product without necessarily burdening the environment to give us what we need? And so that's how we use the crop waste. So after farmers have harvested their waste, I mean, they are actually their produce, and then it's waste, instead of them slashing to burn or throwing away, like with this whole methane emission and carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, we would buy the waste. so they
Oh,
also earn. So it's like we are trying to, the whole point is to create value for the waste so that it doesn't just, it's not just left there,
yeah.
right? And so that's the whole concept of involving the government. I think it is a big challenge. I think the whole issue has to do with a mindset shift.
Yeah.
And so, yes, I mean, we can do the talks, we can go and lobby, we could have a lot of policy dialogues
Mhm.
back to back to back. But the whole point is if we do not start something on our own, in our own little corner, maybe changing how, maybe for a startup, changing how you source your packaging, that could be something else. That in its own way is corrects an issue. So yeah,
Right.
so everyone has this whole policy. Yes, we need to lobby the government, but it's not necessarily going to do the job. So each person can start in their own corner. It could be just one small aspect of your business, and if everyone is doing that, things will change and will gradually be shifting. Yes.
Thank you so much for that. Our time is up for the first speaker, but these are insightful thoughts and wonderful perspectives. Please leave your comments or questions in the chat box. We'll definitely do a sort of a round of thoughts and reflections. And our speakers are here with us. Marina Eunice is here with us, and she will definitely also be reacting in the chat, I believe, just for people who need further perspective about this. Thank you, Eunice. I'm moving on to the second speaker. Quickly, who is Sebastian Ingida. Sebastian Ingida is a founder of Good Still, and I think he's one of the leading young people within the sustainability space in Kenya. And we've been to West Africa, Ghana, my beloved country, and I'm going to one of my favorite places to be, Kenya. And Kenya has an exciting and interesting, dynamics when it comes to sustainability. Of course, their president, William Ruto, is quite an advocate, a very good voice when it comes to talking green and speaking about sustainability and all that within the African context. We're going to be talking to someone who has walked the talk and has done a lot within the space in recent time. And I think he's one of the leading people in the space. So Sebastian, kindly switch on your camera and then let's have a chat quickly about your journey also within the space and what your thoughts are when it comes to circularity. How can we do this as Africans to improve our economies?
Hi, Andrew.
Good to see you, man.
You have a way of intimidating your speakers. That introduction is too much.
Oh, my brother, I'm trying to, man. You
doing a good
deserve your
job.
flowers. You deserve your flowers. On this platform,
I hope
you give the
I hope
flowers.
Kate is working on that invoice for you. Anyway, my name is Sebastian Gida. I am the founder of Kenkted. We are a trade and development organization based in Nairobi, Kenya. And what we do, sorry, you might hear some background noises. I am at Good Still, which we're going to get into. So just bear with me. So what Kenkted is a trade and development organization based here in Nairobi, Kenya. And what we believe as an organization is that trade can actually be used as a tool for development, and it can actually help in solving some of the problems that we are experiencing as Africans. And one of the biggest, kind of just to get straight into the Good Still narrative, one of the things we're looking at is unemployment of the African youth, as well as the problem that is textile that ends up in our landfill. And so when Kate reached out about this conversation on circular economy, I was like, we have to have this conversation, and I'm excited to be here.
Awesome.
Yes.
Thank you so much. So particularly on Good Still and with your excitement about circularity, the circular economy, can you tell us what you are doing in that space? What is the ethos or modus operandi of Good Still in terms of bridging employment gaps and all that, but connecting it to circularity?
Okay, so as an African on this call or in this meeting, there are two things that I can almost certainly guess, whether you are in East Africa, West Africa, North Africa, or South Africa. If you are a sibling, an older sibling, you've had to give your older clothes to your younger siblings. If you are an uncle, you have to give your clothes to your nephews and nieces. Okay, nephews. If you're an aunt, you've given your clothes to nieces. And the other thing that I'm very sure about is if you're a younger sibling, you've actually looked at your older siblings' clothes and gone like, can you give me that shirt once you're done with it? And the reason for that is not because we love what other people have, it's because it's just a lifestyle that we have. We love sharing. There's that Ubuntu nature that we have as Africans, which is as long as this thing still works, we still have the opportunity to extract the entirety of the value that it has to offer. And so what Good State is basically a concept that builds onto that. Like I said, KENCTAD is a trade and development organization that looks to employ different solutions to solve the problems that we have. And in this case, we are looking at unemployment. The African youth doesn't have a job. Some do, but most of them don't. And so what we are looking at is with all these second-hand clothes that are coming into the continent, and even new brands saying, look, we're going to come and set up shop in South Africa, in Kenya, in Nigeria, in Ghana. The thing that usually happens is, as Sebastian, when I buy a piece of clothing, once I'm done with it, I hang it. And I just have it in my closet, you know. But it's even worse for my sisters and my aunties, like the ladies. The pattern or the behavior that comes with buying clothes is a bit, I don't want to use abnormal, but they buy more clothes than we do. And they get bored with them, you know. And if you understand the biology of a woman, is they go through different transitions. They're a girl, they're a woman, they're a mother. And so with every stage, they get to acquire new clothes. And so what happens is they end up having this much clothes that they don't use. And the Ubuntu nature in them is they want to donate these clothes. But where do they take them? We also don't have like a very clear recycling culture in the African context or space that allows us to be like, I can take this bag to this place. Of course, we have people who are now doing it, like Good Still, but we don't have that culture naturally embedded in how we operate as a community. And so what we said is, you have this full closet of clothes. What if we took it? Because they're still good clothes. They're good still. You know, that's where the name comes from. They're still good. They're good still. What if we took them, kind of processed them, and gave them to young people and women who don't have jobs? And that is where the entire concept came from. Because now we're looking at graduates who just came from university, they've graduated, but they don't have anything to do. Yet there's this coat, for example, that I no longer want to use, but I don't mind giving it away if it's going to put a plate on someone's table. So that is the entire concept of good sale. We are very much in the reuse space. We have, in the circular economy, we have the use, reuse, sharing, because again, circular economy is not just about production, it's also about consumption. There's the repurposing and refurbishing. So us guys are focusing mostly on the reuse. So you give us clothes that are still good, and then we figure out a way to get them in the hands of young people and women who can actually make a living out of them. The next phase of it is gonna be now the repurposing and the building of other things out of it. But at this point, especially as an organization, we truly understand that it takes time to even build a system that works. And so we are still in the reuse space, but the next phase is now gonna be the repurpose. Because the other thing we've learned very fast is when people are giving textile and clothes that are still good, they also use it as an opportunity to declutter. So some of the clothes cannot necessarily be sold. So the question is, who can we partner with? Who can repurpose those clothes into other things? Hangers, for example, carpets, for example. But that is the thing that we are looking at. But in the future plan is now build an ecosystem that allows us to do that on our own.
Fantastic. Wow. I think that the vision is wonderful. And in terms of how you started, I see the looping in. There's a question here about the difference between loop recycling and then circular recycling. Which system is important, right? But I want to add another thought to it based on what you've said, because you're currently in the reuse side of recycling, where you then go into repurposing or refurbishing this clothing. but of course you are going to work with someone. How can we answer this question? Because the circular economy, recycling is part of circularity, right? It is an aspect of it. But then on the looping side, how do we define that based on the model that you are operating?
So here's the thing, right? The thing about us individuals who are very passionate about sustainability is we constantly find the need to come up with acronyms that sound smart. You know, we have our tendencies of coming up with words that are complex as a way of making us stand out. Truth is circularity and the loop economy is the same thing. This product, like the first speaker said, whenever it's no longer being in use, it can be used elsewhere as either a raw material or an enabler to the next process of something else. And so to me, it's the same thing. And what we are doing is, even the people who end up buying these clothes, if they feel like they no longer need them, they can bring them back to us. And the thing that we are doing in that space is even partnering with businesses and being us guys saying, so to give you context, we've received almost 30,000 pieces of clothing ever since we started. And we are still in the pilot phase of this program. 30,000 pieces of clothing donated by less than 30 people should tell you something. 30, less than 30 people having donated almost 30,000 pieces of clothing. That should tell you something.
Wow, people have a lot of clothes in their wardrobe.
So that means on average, someone has like 1,000 clothes that they gave us. You know, and we have people who are now repeat donators, you know. And the thing that we've also seen is when Andrew gives, Andrew tells Sebastian about this place. You have clothes you no longer use. Talk to these guys, you know. And so even in the pilot phase, seeing that kind of numbers kind of blows our mind, because now what happened is we had to put a pause on the clothes because now we were running out of space. At the beginning of it, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to make one of the rooms in my house serve this purpose. We learned very fast within the first 3 weeks that was not going to work. And so we put a pause on it. And so even in that space of looping this thing, we are like, okay, even if this 30,000 clothes came back to us, how do we make sure that they have proper storage? And beyond that, how do we make sure that even the people who are taking them are not contributing to the initial problem that we wanted to solve, which is now clothes ending up in landfills? You know, so creating that loop, because it's now also from our perspective, it's not just about the unemployment perspective. It's also from the perspective of reducing how much textile ends up in landfills. And if we don't do that, then we're not doing anything. We're not solving any problem. We might as well have just let the people who donated go and throw them in landfills in the first place. And so that loop is ensuring that these things have a very clear way of coming in, how they're dispatched, and should they run out of use, they can come back to us in one shape, way, or form. Because what we want to achieve is create opportunities, but at the same time make sure that the problem we're solving is actually being solved, as opposed to creating the problem on a larger scale. Because now our output is way, way more than what an individual's output would be.
Yeah. I totally understand you on that. And it's quite exciting how you put it, because you can start solving a problem and before you realize you're creating a problem for yourself and you're getting overwhelmed. Let's use the last couple of minutes remaining. I think one last minute remaining to let people understand how long you've been doing this. And then you have kept your vision in sight in terms of what you are working on. So this clothes should not end up in the landfill sites. How do you intend to expand your work going forward and opening it up for other people to probably just join in and together solve this big problem that you are trying to address?
Okay, so like I said earlier, this is a pilot phase. It's happened. We launched it officially in March. And
Oh.
then, like I said, we learned very fast that this is a way bigger problem than we envisioned when we are conceptualizing it. So it's been in operations for 6 months. March till now is around 6 months, right?
Yeah.
Already
New.
received over 30,000 pieces of clothing, impacted over 160 people who actually want to go and resell. We are looking to partner with people who can now help us calculate this from a carbon emissions and carbon emission perspective. Currently, what we are looking at is how can we, for the pieces of clothes that we can't necessarily do anything with, we are looking to import like a machine that can kind of grind them and now allow us to build other things out of it. Because at the end of the day, whether you like it or not, there are pieces of clothes that people will be like, that even you as an individual who has it, you're like, this one can't go anywhere. So we're looking at how else can we repurpose. Now that will take us into the space of repurpose, adding on to the reuse perspective. In regards to people partnering with us, we always are open to that. Just go to goodstill.co.ke. Okay, it's not fully
It's
visible.
it's under.
Yes, goodstill.co.ke. And it's open. Right now we're in Kenya, but the vision behind it is to take it across different countries on the continent. Because I can tell you this for free, Nigerians are suffering the same problem, Ugandans. If you're in Africa, this is something you relate with.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Sebastian. And these are just amazing, amazing things that you are doing. We are here to support, to continue to, sound and alert people, amplify your sound, because you are doing amazing in Kenya. And of course, you can scale deeper and also wider across the continent. I'm rooting for you. And
thanks, Andrew.
Stay on the call. I'm sure people would have a couple of questions and insights to share. Please feel free to also react to them in the chat box.
All right.
My people, I bet you are enjoying yourself just as I am. I mean, enjoying yourself in context of getting these insights, these ideas, hearing from people like you and I who are really solving the challenges that confront us, building a circular economy, first from their community, and also entering into the nation. We are going to pull up our next poll to more or less like understand if you have understood or have a certain sort of, added advantage to your own perspective when it comes to circularity, all right? And which area do you think holds the most potential for implementing circular economic practices in Africa? Let us understand where the potential lies. So we've heard from a speaker who is working in the field of, restoring our vegetation, more like deforestation, climbing down to get down on it. And then we've heard from another amazing speaker who is also within the fashion side of things, the clothing or the secondhand clothing, trying to, repurpose them, first of all, collecting them, reusing them, and repurposing them. But where do you think lies the potential, the most potential for circular economic practices in Africa? I have the poll here: waste management and recycling, sustainable agriculture, renewable energy, eco-friendly manufacturing, and the circular supply chain management. Let us know what you think. And all of these are so important, they are critical, but perhaps there is the most potential one, like the one with the most potential to actually drive circular economic practices in Africa. I think maybe waste management and recycling. Yeah. Because I'm in Ghana, we are battling with a lot of waste here, and it cuts across most African countries. That's my selection. I don't know about you, but you choose yours. And then, okay, I said it. Yeah, you see, now there's waste management and recycle. I think people are thinking like me. Yeah, I like that. Thank you very much. And sustainable agriculture. So it follows there, and the last bit is circular supply chain management. Perhaps we don't understand that one properly, but supply chain, I know, is also a very big thing. And we might as well just research more into these areas and see how as entrepreneurs we can, take advantage of the opportunities that exist, or even see a problem, identify a problem, and then co-create solutions to address them. All right. I mean, I'm getting into my elements now, huh? I think I'm already on some sort of another cloud level now. I don't know, but you can decide that for me. So I'm moving to our next speaker, and our next speaker is also doing amazing things. She's coming from a place of, you know, the green produce or the agricultural side of things, right? I call those nice, you know, mushrooms things and stuff like that. So she's by the name Farida Amankwa. I think another Ghanaian who is joining me. That's also exciting for my own Ghanaian advocacy things. Let's pull Farida. Farida, you're with me and you're audible and can hear me. Please. Yeah. Turn on your camera. Let's see. Oh, wonderful, Farida. Thank you so much for joining us. We have a couple of minutes to talk, but before we dive into the questions and all that, quick reflection so far, based on what you've heard. I understand your internet is not so stable, so we'll run through this quickly. You know, quick reflections on what you've heard so far, and then what you are doing to possibly solve or drive more change and impact towards circular economy. Over to you, Farida.
Okay, thank you very much, Andrews. Please, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, thank you so much. My name is Farida, and I'm also from Ghana, and I'm running a social enterprise which is focusing on sustainable agriculture and sustainable fashion. So what we do is we use the agricultural residues, which is rice bran and sawdust, the waste from the carpenters, which will be thrown away or burnt. That's what we use. So we add the rice bran to it, recycle it into edible oyster mushrooms. So we recycle it into edible oyster mushrooms. So we are reducing the agricultural residues that would have ended up in our landfills. And the sustainable agriculture, what we do is, you know, these fashion designers, after cutting their pieces of clothes and other things, they just throw them away anyhow. So we collect these pieces of clothes, recycle them with the plastic sachet rubbers inside them into sustainable earrings. So we began conducting a thorough waste audit and assessing our supply chain with these people, and we realized 99.9% of them just throw them away. They don't know the use of it. They just end up in our landfill. Some of them burn it, and many other waste that destroy our environment. So we design these products and services. We reuse them, recycle, and upcycle them. So this is basically what I am doing. It's just a startup. I think the idea came 3 years ago, but we just put it into.
You say 3 years?
Yes, somewhere last year. Yes. So not just the pieces of cloths, we use the plastic bottles as well. We recycle them into eco-friendly earrings as well. So basically, that's what our startup is all about.
Fantastic there. I'm curious to know how, of course, it's going and the lessons that you've learned from it so far. You've shared a couple of lessons that 99.9% of the people do not really know the value of some of the things that they use. I mean, what it can be turned into and all that. So it ends up on landfills. But you added another element to the conversation now, based on what our previous speakers have shared so far. You've added upcycling. What does that mean? Upcycling, what does that mean? All right, so first share your lessons so far, and then maybe add the upcycling, and then we'll just move on to the next.
Okay. Thank you so much. So adapting to the circular economy mindset requires a lot of innovative designs and ideas. If you want to go into the circular economy space, I think you have to do a lot of prototypes. You have to be very innovative. So it doesn't just require just a person. You have to make a lot of inquiries, ask a lot of questions. How do I do this? How do I do that? How do I add this to that? So that's why I was differentiating between the recycling and the upcycling. So the recycling is very common, but the upcycling, you just add value to what you have already.
Wow.
Unlike the recycling.
Yeah.
Just like those who are using the
That's a bit of,
size for sofas and other, they are adding value to it.
Got you. There's a bit of break in there with your internet.
You add value to it and you get your product. So as I said, in the circular economy space, you have to be very innovative. Very, very innovative.
Got you. Got you. So you just add value to the existing thing that you're doing. That becomes upcycling.
Yes.
You had a bit of a break in there. Perhaps you may just manage your bandwidth by turning on your video. But if it's okay, I think it's a bit stable now. But maybe just for the last minute that we have to quickly touch a bit on something. Yeah, you turn it off, and then let's bring this question from one of our entrepreneurs on the call. He's asking that how do small businesses calculate the net environmental impact when repurposing waste? Perhaps maybe Sebastian may also want to touch on this also in the chat. But a quick note: we're going to allow room for two of our entrepreneurs who are connecting to share their experiences, perhaps in just an elevator pitch, what you are doing within your own spaces. So please write to studio when you check the participant list, studio or Kate, right? Studio is Lolo, who is helping with the back end support. She'll take your sort of submission. So send her a topic, what you want to talk about, just in 2 minutes. Okay, we don't have much time. So you can say I'm trying to rush through it, but we want to give opportunities for other entrepreneurs on the call who are doing some wonderful things within their own small way to also share their experiences in just 2 minutes at the end of our conversations with the speakers for the day. Yeah. So Farida, there's a question here, as I was trying to read earlier, about the environmental impact. In terms of environmental, please keep your microphone mute. Thank you so much. Yeah, and draw attention if you want to talk, but let's use the chat box for now. Thank you. Okay, so it's critical for us to understand what we mean by net environmental impact. Please, can you share what you are doing in your context, practically, what your environmental impact is in terms of, the refurbishing and also the upcycling bits that you do? I think you're muted, Farida.
Okay, thank you. Please, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I think my mic is down, so I have to put off my camera for now.
Yes,
so,
please.
Okay. So if I got you right, the person is asking how to calculate your environmental impact.
Yes.
Okay, so you have to, first of all, identify your key performance indicators. So you have to know whether you are reducing waste, you are saving energy, water conservation, and so many other things. The waste management sector is very broad. So first of all, you have to identify your key performance indicators. That's the KPIs.
Yeah.
And the second one is to conduct a life cycle assessment. So if you are able to conduct the life cycle assessment, you will know what you are going into. You know what you are going into, whether you are going into disposal or recycling, or you are going into production, or just the raw material extraction that you are going to do. So the third thing you have to do is assess your waste purposing as well. So you have to know whether the quantity of waste you are reducing, are diverted from the landfills, whether you are creating job opportunities and you are making a benefit for the community members, the community you are in.
Gotcha.
So you have to ask yourself, what I'm doing, is it creating an impact for the community members? Is it yielding a positive result, or you are just doing it for fun?
Those are serious questions to ask ourselves now.
Exactly.
And I guess we'll have to take that forward to reflect on them, on these questions. Are you doing it for fun?
Exactly.
Or are you doing it to really solve the challenges confronting people? And also there is another element of it. Who needs what you're doing? Who are you solving for? So thank you so much, Farida. This how far time can afford us. So you know what? Stick and stay with us. I see a lot of comments in the chat box, so perhaps you can react to them and share further perspectives to our entrepreneurs who are connected, who would want to be like you or do something close to what you're doing. Thank you so much, Farida, for sharing this insights with us. Our next speaker is doing some incredible stuff within the agricultural space. And we would be hearing from him a little bit, but let me give a quick housekeeping rule yet again for our fellows, our friends on the call. Please, if you are not speaking, or better way, just keep your microphones muted, because we have a list of speakers that we have lined up for today's occasion. We have the last speaker, the fourth person, who is going to share and talk about agriculture. I'd want us to please listen, and let's keep our microphones muted. And if you want to, turn on video, feel free to do that. But then we just don't want some sort of distractions in the background, right? So thank you so much for helping us to have a wonderful and a smooth conversation today. All right, so I'm going to be calling on Gabo Falasi. I hope I got the name right. He's the managing director for New Native Agriculture. He does everything within agriculture, purposely trying to redefine agriculture, so to say, in Africa, right? He's been doing this so far for the last couple of years. He's going to talk about how long he has been in the space. Normally, when you set up the business, it doesn't really reflect how long you've been in the space, because the business can be set up in like a year or two ago, but perhaps you have years of experience doing this thing. So Gabo, if you're here, kindly turn on your video and let's dive right into it. Awesome. I see you right there, Gabo. So
hi.
good to see you again. So you do everything within, let me not say everything. Perhaps you are trying to redefine how we do agriculture in Africa. Let's connect it to circularity, right? How critical is agriculture for a circular economy to thrive in Africa, based on your experience?
All right. Hi to everyone. I think the best way for me to describe it, my brother, would be like my experience is that if you want to go fast, they say go alone, and if you want to go far, we need to go together. I think looking at the African context in terms of how a lot of our resources, and especially in South Africa, our cities and our inner cities have there's a lot of derelict, broken down places that aren't being used, warehouses that are laying barren. And when you're looking at agriculture and the carbon footprint and all these other things that really pertain to the devaluation of opportunities for us to be able to be involved in it are quite intense. So when I founded New Native Agriculture 5 years ago, I realized
you see, he has a lot of experience, people.
Because it's such an agri-tech intensive space, I had to do my thesis. I had to learn a little bit more about.
Gabo, your voice is a bit dim. It's a bit, okay, I can hear you. It's loud and clear now.
All right, sorry. So when I came into the agri-tech space 5 years ago, I had no one to reference in terms of what the potential of agriculture could be for our African people. So when I first started it was more than just a business. What really spoke to me is that it was a catalyst for urban rehabilitation. The way in which we do
what? Urban rehabilitation.
Urban rehabilitation, yeah. So this is effectively.
Can you explain that?
It's just so urban rehabilitation effectively is just redefining the way cities have been used for spaces of commerce to become places where we can grow food, and we can actually start to address the issue of unemployment amongst young Africans. Traditional agriculture has put us in a position whereby we're quite heavily dependent on farms that are quite far off. And so from the logistics to the people that they employ in order for them to make it happen, people are being disenfranchised in the opportunities that they have with the skills that they've already got. So when New Native is involved for New Native agriculture in terms of the circular economy, our objective was to enhance sustainability, to optimize resource use, to create an economic value chain. So for New Native agriculture in relation to our tech and the sustainable and the circular economy model, our first thing was sustainable input use. New Native agriculture prioritizes closed loop systems like in hydroponics, which use less water, and less nutrients compared to traditional farming. So that, that's a big bonus. We're able to capitalize that and actually now start to implement and make that a reality. Secondarily, we're looking at maximizing resource efficiency, by utilizing what we use, DWC, which is called deep water culture hydroponics. New Native already maximizes on things like land, water, and energy. With developments in renewable energy, we're now able to run the farms on solar systems. Creating an off-grid energy efficient model. Additionally, also we're now able to adopt AI-driven systems, so this increases productivity, it minimizes on waste and a lot of those things. And then also things like the product life cycle extension, So this talks about to be able to adapt our technology to the changing times. So there's no more disposing of old systems, now we're actually able to update them and make them more relevant to the times at hand. And then when it comes to recycling, all the food waste, we're now able to compost that. All the extra feed waste will also go to feedlots. And then also a sharing economy for farmers. We decided that in order for us to enhance access to agri-tech and promote the more inclusive growth, New Native is exploring a sharing economy model, whereby a sharing economy model. That's exactly right. So in this kind of model, effectively what you have is that where you get small scale farmers and rehabilitation centers would now be able to share their equipment and farming space and resources. Wow. So looking at cities, so instead of having people have to implement all this high-end agri-tech by themselves, governments and private stakeholders are able to, band their resources together and to be able to provide this platform in order for people to sustain themselves and effectively regenerate their own cities. And it attracts so many different positive things, in its inception. Wow. Yeah, man. I think that
can I bring in one question for you to unpack your thoughts a bit about the sharing model in relation to what Sebastian made mention of. I mean, somebody asked a question about looping. So looping within the context of reusing, recycling. So where you loop in people, making sure that there are connectivity within the line, more like your value chain or a value chain approach with a product or the offering that you are giving to people. So how do we bring some sort of balance in these two concepts? Because I'm also advised now, based on the conversation, that we have a lot of terminologies out there, but perhaps in terms of the sharing model and then the looping, is it the similar to what we would term sharing? Makes it look like, okay, you have other farmers who are just sharing their land with other people and all that. But perhaps within the context of talking circularity, does this also reflect looping?
Okay. I think that if I understand your question correctly, you're trying to find out how the loop system, the the loop system falls in terms of how we're able to now the sharing economy for farmers and small case. Yeah. So how that works. So if I had to give you an example, you could have an urban farm on a rooftop. From that rooftop, you know, how that would work is that it would literally, now the carbon footprint, so it speaks into the sustainability of every single farm and the people that are able to gain benefit from that farm. At the same time, you know, minimizing the environmental impact that that farm has, and also ensuring that it's the most productive, that has the highest amount of output and optimization to make sure that it's sustainable and successful. So when you're talking about the sharing economy for farmers, we want to ensure that people have the ability to be able to even operate these farms. So information at the most basic level allows for people to make informed decisions based on the thing that they have. And as a ripple effect in terms of what that's going to look like for future generations, the loop would then mean that we have a better outlook in terms of what we can look forward to for our economies, despite where that farm might be. I think that makes sense for you. Yeah.
Got you. It does. And I see the model is really what we preach from the shared value side of things. So we are creating shared value, not leaving anything behind, as interconnected, linked together. One last question, and then perhaps we'll move to one of our entrepreneurs on a call who want to share his experience, Simba, on the recycling, upcycling side of things. So that's the topic that we have. We're only going to allow for one person. You know, I know there are like 2 people who sent in. We're only going to call Simbarashi to share. So one last question before I let you go, Kabo.
Yes, sir.
Currently, I bet you've learned a lot of things within the last 5 years. Let's leave some people who want to explore agriculture. Agriculture has not been really maximized or taken full advantage of in Africa.
Yes.
Based on your experience and the learnings that you've picked up along the way, how can we get it right? And how can we make it attractive for young people to enter and venture into it? I mean,
I think I think that what I didn't fully realize, you know, was just how immense the obstacles would be in trying to move into the agri-tech space. You know, from gaining access to markets, you know, securing derelict, broken down spaces for our farms to be able to be put into, you know, breaking into a highly competitive agricultural market. You know, these are the things that you really need to be able to gear yourself up to be able to face, you know, when coming into this industry. I think that these trials for us didn't just test our resolve, but, you know, the very core purpose of what new native agriculture is going to be and what we already are. You know, we are a catalyst for, like I said, urban rehabilitation, urban regeneration. So urban regeneration, urban rehabilitation is saying that how can we reimagine ourselves in a context of being competitive on a world platform with something that truly speaks to ourselves, you know, using agri-tech, you know, but yet still holding on to our cultural heritage, similar to like the mythical Wakanda, you know. What did that reality look like? You know, we're sitting in a place right now where we have things like solar power, you know, we have these systems that are with water scarcity and all of that. We have these systems now that can actually save water, you know, allowing for us to maximize on the other resources that we do have and be able to open up things like even deliveries for this produce around the cities for people that might have little scooters and stuff like that right now. Now, the people that were driving the trucks from, you know, traditional farms are now able to participate within the agricultural loop chain of sorry, for lack of better words, I'm just going to say of sustainability.
Yeah, I got it. I mean, it's more like the value chain approach here. So the urban regeneration or rehabilitation based on your offering, and from the agri-tech model, you try to connect the dots, basically leaving nothing on itself. That's
exactly right.
Circularity model. Fantastic circularity model there. Thank you so much, Kabo, for sharing this with us, and for just being generous with your ideas, getting someone to also, you know, take advantage of the space. And if they want to reach out or of course, get some mentorship from you, I bet you are available for them. So kindly stay here a bit, whilst perhaps somebody might drop you a text in the chat or something like that and quickly react to it. Thank you so much, Carl.
Thank you, guys.
Let me bring in our entrepreneur who is going to be doing an elevator pitch.
That's terrible.
Elevator pitch. All right. Amazing, amazing, amazing work there. So Simbarasha Dube, where are you connecting from? And can you walk us through? This is quick elevator. Yeah? In 2 minutes, you're talking about recycling and then upcycling. Please go. Share with us.
Hi, everyone. My name is Simbarasha Dube from Zambia, Eastern Province, part of Zambia, called Chipata. There's a city called Chipata. So I'm the founder of an organization which is called The Waste and the People. So this organization, we are trying to create a circular economy where waste is minimized, resources are conserved, and communities also benefit. So what we do is we do into plastic. We advocate for plastic pollution. So what we do, we take plastic bottles, just pick plastic from the communities. When you get those plastics and cardboard, we turn them into different things that you can use or to sell and sustain ourselves. So at this moment, let me just show you quick some of the items. Just that today I'm far from my workshop, but I've got a few items. So this one, it's a bracelet. It's a bracelet. Wow. So these are just plastic bottles you can see from here. Oh. So this is a bracelet. Yeah. It also has its own necklace. Yeah. So we also do jewelry with plastic bottles. Then we also advocate for eco bricks, the making of eco bricks. So an eco brick is whereby you get an empty plastic bottle, then you stuff it in, fill it in with other plastics inside. So these bottles, we use them to make fancy coffee tables. I've shared my link for my Facebook page, so you get to see some of the coffee tables, the furniture that we make using eco bricks. So when the other presenter was talking about circular economy, it just built up much curiosity in me. Like, I just want to get to know more, because it's something which is interesting, and I've enjoyed each and every part of it. Each and every part of it. I'm still enjoying it, you know. Right now, the only challenge is building a system that works. That's the only challenge that we have. But I do whatever that I just wake up and do what I do. It's something which is fun, because when you take care of nature, it takes care of you. There's no waste is waste if you waste. Yes.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow. When you take care of nature, it takes care of you. Keep the fire burning, yes. And we will definitely connect sometime on this same platform again, where you will get to, expand more about your journey, about how far you've come, and of course, bring in partners or potentially someone who can help you do more, within your community, and also expand to the rest of Africa. Keep the fire burning once again. And I like how you sign out. When we take care of the environment, nature will take care of us. When we take care of nature, nature will take care of us. Shout out to you, man. Yeah. Best. All the best.
Thank you.
All right. So my people, this is what we do on this platform. It's mainly sharing ideas, of course, learning from each other, and joining forces, basically collaborating to make Africa what we want it to be, the greatest continent in our world. And of course, its people happy, healthy, and doing well. And with Africa currently, beaming up or thriving with a lot of young people within the space, what better way to create the future we want than empowering and giving you the opportunity, you young people developing innovative ideas, opportunity to share and to expand your work. We're going to queue or pull up a poll right now that is going to basically be asking us a simple question. How likely are you to consider integrating circular economy principles into your business operations? How likely are you? Based on all that you've heard from Eunice down to Cabo, and then hearing from Simba, who just inspired me, taking care of nature, nature takes care of you. So how likely are you to integrate circular economy principles into your work? For me, very, very likely. I mean, I love this concept so much. I think it's timely, and it's one thing that we as Africans need in this phase. I mean, Ghana currently, we are going back and forth with curbing or making sure that we stop illegal mining. People are destroying the environment. And I'm, for one, I've been advocating about this, making sure that the government intervenes, and also empowering the green side of things, the circular enterprises who will bring in the innovation, because most of these things, the illegal mining and irresponsible mining, is basically unemployment. People need jobs, people need bread and butter. And circular economy, circularity brings so much opportunities to address the rising youth unemployment crisis in the country. So I'm very much likely to integrate in it. Let's see the results of the poll. How many people have responded? And we'll be wrapping up in the next 15. So please stay. Oh, very likely. Someone, 4% say very, really? Please don't do that. You even say neutral, very unlikely. No, don't do that. Thank you very much. We have some exciting thing coming up from the shared value side of things. This brings us to the end of the speakers bit. And now we're going to be talking about ESG Summit. So the Africa Shared Value and ESG Summit, right? It's coming up shortly, and we're going to pull up a promo just to encourage everybody connecting and being a part of this nice network to amplify the message and invite people to join us in Nairobi, where we're going to be talking about ESG. Let's pull up the promo.
Empowering Africa's future. Africa's next chapter in responsible business is here. Join industry leaders as we shape the next generation of responsible businesses.
Over the long term, business cannot succeed where societies are failing.
Exploring themes like ESG, economic growth, gender equality, and climate change. Be part of Africa's transformative journey. Register today for the 2024 Africa Shared Value and ESG Summit, hosted in Nairobi, Kenya, from 24 to 25 October. Empowering Africa's future.
There you have it. Business cannot succeed where community or society is failing. That's another powerful one there. So with that said, let me invite Kate, or perhaps let me just wrap it up myself. Let's have the awareness video also for us, and then hopefully Kate can then say some couple of words about the ESG Summit, and then we'll wrap it up nicely. Okay. Okay, I think that was the video that was shared, the promo video and all that. So that's awareness video. There you have it. Let's meet in Nairobi, Kenya, and then talk about these issues that we have dived deep into. Before we sign out, please hold on. Let's hear summary of quick thoughts from our speakers. They've shared so many things. I mean, there's a lot of insights from solving the problem, making sure they are solving the problem. Sustainability and profitability can coexist, collaboration being key, urban regeneration or rehabilitation. We had Sebastian talking about refurbishing or repurposing, clothes. We heard from Farida with upcycling. I mean, guys, 1 minute each. Please leave us with something powerful. The weekend is coming, and somebody has to go and research and dive deeper into these things. Let me start by calling on Kabo. Kabo, leave us a message and share something with us for us to take it up forward. And in the chat box, you see the registration link for the ESG Summits. Thank you. Okay, if Kabo is muted, Kabo is okay. Kabo, are you there?
Yeah, 1 second.
Oh, okay.
Hi. All right. I think, guys, if I had to go.
Okay, your voice. Yeah. Can
Hi.
you hear me?
Is it better?
Now it's better.
I think if I had to leave you guys with a simple message here, it would be that the future of Africa lies in our hands. You know, in our cities is our ability to innovate while preserving our identity. To be more than a business, to be a movement towards a self-reliant, thriving, and culturally rich Africa. I think that's, for me, that sums it up. That what shared value actually looks like in action is that we have the ability to take our own future into our own hands and create something for the next generations that can really make Africa stand up as a beaming light in this world.
Wow. Thank you so much. I have goosebumps all over me, and I bet we are definitely going to become a beaming light in this world. Thank you so much, Cabo, for that. Let me call on Eunice. Leave us a message, what we should take home.
Hi everyone. So it has been exciting. I've learned so much, but I think what I would really want to leave with everyone is that yeah, we have to be the change we want to see. We want things to be done right, so we need to be the change, and that's all begins with us. So in your own small way, in your small corner of the world, keep doing that, and it would eventually have a ripple effect. So yeah, that's what I have to share. Yes, and
Got
all the
you.
best.
Wow. The ripple effect philosophy is something that's so powerful. From little to big. I mean, there's power in small. So in your small community, you do something, and then who knows? It's just going to escalate and blossom. Thank you so much, Eunice, for those powerful words there. Farida, are you with us? Let's hear from Farida, and then we hear from Sebastian, and then we would call it a day. Farida? Okay.
Please, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Please.
Okay, so the first thing I'm going to say is call to action. So the circular economy offers a powerful vision for a regenerative future. So let's work together to redefine growth, reduce waste, and unlock new opportunities. So I'll urge everyone here who is not doing anything in their communities to start from the grassroots. They should volunteer with local organizations. They should learn something from there, and we can solve one of the world's biggest problems together. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Farida, for those inspiring words. Sebastian, take us home and give us an exciting weekend, just as our colleagues, your colleagues, my friends have shared. What are you leaving with us?
Okay. So here's what I'd like to say. The name of this event, or this call as you call it, is Africa Entrepreneurship Forum. I think it's important to have a very clear understanding of what entrepreneurship is. And to me, entrepreneurship is about solving a problem while making money. If you're not making money, whatever you're doing is not entrepreneurship. The beauty of it, however, is the problem-solving part. If you listen to what everyone has said, from the speakers to even the young entrepreneur who came and shared what they're doing, none of this is rocket science. None of us has talked about carbon capture. None of us has talked about these scientific things that require you to go to school for. If you critically think about the things your grandmothers did, your grandfathers did, how food was put in granaries, how cow dung was used to smear the houses, all of these things are sustainability focused. The thing that has happened, like I said earlier, is we have acronyms and abbreviations that are tied to sustainability and ESG, and it makes the topic seem far-fetched. It seems westernized. It seems like it's not ours. Let me tell you this for free. Everything that is being spoken about under ESG, and again, I say ESG, which is an acronym, it basically means environment, social, and governance. Environment, take care of the environment. Social, make sure that the people who are in the community that you operate in are taken care of. Just ask yourself, what is fair? I'm making profit out of this community. What is my responsibility to these people, because I'm making money from them? And that's where the shared value aspect comes in. There's value that is being generated in solving a problem. This value has to be shared. You know, when we say shared value, it seems like it's not even African. It's you're creating value or you're drawing value from something. how can we share it? When you talk about governance, is as an entrepreneur, you're building a team. How are you taking care of your employees? If someone is giving you their money, an investor, how are you taking care of them? Wow. Simplify these acronyms and these abbreviations to a point where you can relate to them. You can relate to them and to things. You can relate them to things that you've seen growing up. And that simplifies it. When I talk about what Good Style is doing, where we're taking good clothes from people and giving them to people who can sell them, none of that is rocket science. It's basically the hand-me-downs. We hated them at some point because we were like, why are you giving me old clothes?
Practical things.
But the truth is, these things are things that happen in this community. In Africa, when you buy a margarine bottle, when you're done with it, you don't throw it. You put salt in it. You put what is it called? Beans. You put grains in it. You know. So sustainability is in our culture. What we need to do is to break it down to a point where we understand it, and own the conversation. The other day, I posted on LinkedIn how ESG conversations, sustainability conversations are being hijacked by Westerners. And it's true. Why are we seeing Westerners talking about climate change when we know how our communities have been dealing with this issue? In my village, when there's a big function, a wedding or a funeral, we have rainmakers or people who chase away the rain. Does it work? I don't know, but it's a belief system that has been there. So how can we modernize that and lead the conversation? So my challenge to everyone on this call is simplify what this thing is and just take lead. Dare to be the one who says, I understand this thing and I'm going to take the lead. I'm not the first one to focus on textile and clothes, and I'm sure I have the audacity and the guts to say this thing is ours and I'm going to be part of the people that solve this problem. And while I'm doing that, I want to make money from it. There has to be a money element, because otherwise, how are we paying for this internet? And to challenge you, earlier when you started, you said,
that's a powerful way to.
Oh, one minute. At the beginning, you said internet in Africa is a problem. It's true. It's a problem. So how do we solve it within ourselves? How do we make money out of it? And so the circular economy for me is just one of the ways that we can explore to solve problems in Africa. But let's now get on the side of solving problems as opposed to complaining.
Thank you so much, Sebastian. You've taken all the words from me. So at this juncture, we just want to say that let's see you again in the last installment for the African Entrepreneurship Forum. We are definitely going to be continuing this conversation. And on the shared value side, please follow us across all platforms. We are everywhere on social media. Thank you, Eunice. Thank you so much, Cabo. Thank you so much, Farida. Thank you, Sebastian, who has taken all the words out of my mouth in a very wonderful way to call us to action. And so until we meet again, I want to wish you the very best of your weekend. And let's continue to make Africa what we want it to be: a land of opportunities, a land of freedom, a land of prosperity, peace, and love. Thank you. Bye-bye.